In this video, we are going to look at Bitcoin specifically and how high it could potentially end up going this cycle and this year. I'm going to share with you other people's predictions. I'm going to share with you my own predictions. We're going to look at data and charts and all of that put together to form some sort of idea where this is going. And if you want me to send you an email every time I upload a video so you never miss another update, to get on my email list, click the first link in the description below. Sign up for my free cryptocurrency masterclass. You'll get a jam-packed presentation there, but you also get on my email list, and then I can send you updates whenever I upload a video. Alright, so Bitcoin is currently trading at $60,756 as I'm making this on April 12th, 2021. Now, the question is, how much longer can Bitcoin continue to go higher? How much higher is it going to go? And, at what point do you buy? At what point do you sell? So let's look at some data first to get an understanding of where we are in the market cycle. And then we'll look at some predictions, and then I will give you my own prediction. And at the end of this video, I would like you to leave your own prediction of how high Bitcoin is going to go this cycle, this year in 2021. And I'm going to do a little giveaway at the end of the year. We'll come back to this video, we'll look at the comments, and whoever was closest will be able to be the winner. All right, so looking at on-chain data for Bitcoin, what is happening is that we are not yet at cycle extremes. Over the past few months on my channel, I'll continue to look at this to try and find out, where is the potential cycle peak. Now, if we're looking at this, for example, the 2-year MA multiplier, you can see we are at high levels, but we are not at the extremes just yet, where that has marked previous tops in 2013 and 2017, where it's poked above this. So again, this is showing that we still have further upside to go. The Puell multiple, you can see over here, we are high, but we are not yet at peak extremes of 2013 and 2017, meaning that there is still potential upside for this indicator to move into the red zone over here. Looking at the stock to flow model, this is perfectly on track. The next plateau level is here at the 100,000 level, but you can see in 2013 and 2017, the stock to flow model, the price has exceeded the plateau level. It's shot above it, and then it's pulled back down and pulled back below it. So if it is going to shoot above that, again, we still have time and price left for that, and that indicates that there is still potential upside. If we look at the MVRVZ score over here, same thing, it's just another indicator. You can see previous extremes in 2013 and 2017 were all actually above the top of the red band over here. We are not even yet in the red band yet. So that still shows potential for that upside. Now again, it's not guaranteed, but looking at all these different indicators shows that we are not yet at the extreme levels that have marked the 2013 and 2017 tops, so that is likely that there is still further potential upside. Then you can see over here the net outflow of Bitcoin from exchanges. You can see this outflow is negative. We have not had this ever. You can see, because there is such a demand for Bitcoin right now, it's being bought up. As you know, Bitcoin is limited in supply. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin in existence, and there is far less available because some of it got lost, some of it is Satoshi Nakamoto's, some of it still has to be mined, others is just bought up and held by other people. So there is far less than 21 million Bitcoin, and with institutions buying up Bitcoin, MicroStrategy owns more than 90,000 Bitcoin. That's just MicroStrategy. They're buying them, they're holding them, which means there's less and less available. It's getting removed off the exchanges. There's a supply deficit, and if the demand continues and continues to increase, that means the price of Bitcoin just has to go up, because that's just how economics work, right? Supply goes down, demand goes up, price has to increase to balance it all out. You can see the Bitcoin on-chain data suggests no bull market top at 60K. Selling activity is declining, and you can see over here on this chart, these are what is called the HODL waves. That's just another way of looking at how many people are holding versus how many people are selling, and again, selling activity is declining. Willy Woo, I'm putting us here on the bull run compared to past cycles. On-chain data supports this double top theory. It's completing the first of the double tops, and turns out we get an ascending triangle going sideways. Volatility is visibly lower this cycle. So as you can see over here, he seems to think we are at these indicated levels, which means that we still have indeed further upside to go. You can see it reach the peak. There's further upside here, which would take us over $100,000. Lex is saying, finally, long-term holder net position change flash green for the first time in more than 5 months. The selling pressure is decreasing, and you can see over here for the first time in 5 months, the selling pressure is changing. So again, people are buying, people are holding, which again would indicate higher prices are possible. The Bitcoin Mayer multiple has reset. This is another indicator, but in the recent consolidation the last few weeks, basically that has allowed the indicators to reset, to cool down, which means again there's further potential upside for them to take another run. And you can see over here how this was circled back in the 2017 top, how it spiked up here after kind of a double top over here. You can see we kind of had a double top, so there is still potential for that to move all the way back up and to get some sort of blow off phase. Ki Young is saying, are we in the market cycle high? No. When the market reaches its peak, everyone deposits Bitcoin to exchanges to sell. So the number of inflow addresses across all exchanges was at its highest in 2018 in January, while we hit a 3-year low a few days ago. So basically, there's a net outflow. People are taking their Bitcoin off exchanges. When people want to sell, they deposit their Bitcoin onto exchanges from their hardware wallets and from their cold storage, meaning that, that is a decent indicator to see when are people buying, or when is there a preparation of people wanting to sell, is when that inflow to exchanges starts happening, because that's when people are preparing. They're sending their Bitcoin there because they want to sell it. Right now, that is not happening. The outflow is huge. Okay, so again, another indicator that there is still a lot of potential to go. And then finally, the reserve risk is only 34% of the peak of 2017. The Bitcoin bull run still has a lot of room to run. Again, just another way of looking at it, where you can see where we are currently versus previous cycle tops, again in the red band. So all of this that I've just shown you shows that there is still a lot of potential to move higher to be able to match previous cycle top extremes in Bitcoin. It's not a guarantee that this will happen, of course, but the odds are pretty decent that that potential is there at least anyway. So how high can Bitcoin actually go this cycle? Well, let me give you some other people's predictions first before I share with you my own. So Max Kaiser, he has been spot on his predictions so far, and he is basically saying that Bitcoin, his 2021 target is $220,000, and he's been sticking to that for a long time. So he's had accurate predictions. He really understands what Bitcoin is in the fiat money system. So that is his target. Then we have Tim Draper. Tim Draper has been incredibly accurate with his predictions. He predicted that Bitcoin was going to go to $10,000 when it was trading at a couple $100, and everyone thought he was crazy. And he has had this target for Bitcoin hitting $250,000 per Bitcoin for quite a few years now already, saying this was going to happen in 2022 or 2023. Might actually happen sooner, but his target, $250,000. Then we have analyst Plan B, $100 trillion on Twitter. He has been documenting this for years. He came out and he's been pushing the stock to flow model for Bitcoin, and it's been absolutely spot on so far. He's been calling this months and months and months in advance. So far, the model is perfectly accurate. The price is just following it. And according to his model, his target is $288,000 per Bitcoin for this cycle. So you can see what he's saying here. In my opinion, Bitcoin will not stop at 100K and will continue to the stock to flow 288K average price level. And he's saying actually the all-time high could be much higher, which means it might overshoot that level even. So 288K for him. And then we have Raoul Pal. He's been saying for quite a while now that Bitcoin is going to be targeting $1 million per Bitcoin. He's giving the target date of 2026. So that's obviously still a whole nother cycle away from here, but that is his target, $1 million by 2026. Now, before we get into my prediction, I want to show you some numbers and what I think is going to happen. I want to show you this too, because this is something very important to take into consideration. The M2 money stock, which has conveniently been discontinued simply because it's so bad. I'm pretty sure they just don't want to share with you anymore how bad it's going to get. But this shows how much money is being created, currency, and how much is being printed. And you can see this goes all the way back from 1980, how that's been gradually increasing. And since the start of 2020, it's just exploded. And that is all the stimulus and the what do you call them, the bailout packages and the trillions of dollars that is being printed by the Federal Reserve and by central banks pretty much around the world. And this is a real issue because it's basically decreasing the purchasing power of fiat currency, meaning that as people start to understand Bitcoin more and understand the scarcity and the sound money nature of Bitcoin, and as the fiat currency value, the purchasing power is decreasing, I think more and more money is just going to flow into Bitcoin, which is going to help accelerate and fuel the potential upside for Bitcoin. And that is why these price targets of 200K, 500K, $1 million per Bitcoin might actually end up being hit. Maybe not this year, but over the coming 5 to 10 years, because fiat currency is just getting worth less and less, right? So just pricing Bitcoin in fiat currency, in US dollars, that alone, as the currency gets worth less, automatically increases the value in US dollar value of Bitcoin. And then you add on top of that the increasing adoption rate and the understanding of Bitcoin and the awareness of Bitcoin as more and more people start to put their fiat currency into Bitcoin. It just accelerates the whole process. So it could indeed end up going much, much higher in US dollar value from here. So now for my prediction, what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin in this cycle, I like to look at some of the previous data points to also try and figure out. Ultimately, it remains a guess. Okay, there's no guarantees. I can't see the future, and obviously this is just my opinion, right? It's not financial advice, guys. So let's look at what happened the last time. So we have the 2013 high. Okay, that was in December 2013, and that was a price of $1,175 per Bitcoin. Then in August 2015, we hit the low of the cycle after that top. That was $196. This data is from Bitfinex, by the way, from the chart, so it varies a little bit per exchange, but roughly it's pretty accurate. Okay, then we have 2017, December 2017, Bitcoin all-time high, $19,891. And the low, 1 year after that, that was a cycle low, $3,215. Now that gives us two sets of data points that we can work with, and basically it gives us a multiple, right? So we had high to high, 16.93x is where it went from the 2013 top to the 2017 top. And then we had low to low is we had $196 in the 2013 low, $3,215. That is a 16.4x from the previous low over there. We also have a low to high multiple. So from 196, we did pretty much 101x to get to the 19.891K. So obviously that is not a huge amount of data to work with at all. It's probably statistically very insignificant, but it is what we have to work with. So going by that, if we had to guess, what is the 2021 high going to be potentially, right? So if we take high to high, basically taking the 19,891, timesing it by the same multiple, we get a top of $336,000 for that same multiple. If we take low to high and we basically take the previous 2017 low, we times it by the multiple, we get 326,000. So basically 326 or 336 based on the previous cycle's multiples, right? And if we were to follow that up, what could the next low potentially be? Well, if we take the previous multiples again, that would take the next one low to about $52,000. Now, one thing I also want to look at is the last 30 days of the cycle. Bitcoin tends to go parabolic. So in 2013, the last 30 days of the cycle, it went from $204 to $11.75. Basically, it did 5.75x in the last 30 days. That's obviously insane, right? In the last 30 days, it still had 575%. 2017, the last 30 days, we went from $8,040 to $19,891, which is a 2.47x in the last 30 days. So that is still significant. Now, again, it's not a lot of data to go by. It's two data points. So we don't actually know. Is this a diminishing return thing where it really halves in potential upside every single cycle? If that were the case, and we would say, for example, it's going to halve again, and it's basically going to go to, let's just say 1.3, then we could say the price currently is 60,000, assuming that the cycle would end in the next 30 days. Then taking today the 60,000, timesing that by this, it would mean we'd only have a high of 78,000 on diminishing returns, assuming today is the last day of the cycle. But if we were to say, hey, maybe we're going to get the same multiple as last time, again, assuming today is the last 30 days of the cycle, then we would see 148,000. And if we would change this to the 2013 cycle, which is probably unlikely, but let's just change it there anyway, 345,000, because who knows, maybe with everything that I've just shown you and the fiat currency printing by the central banks and the adoption rate, maybe we do get some crazy inflow and we might see something like that. Again, that would be $345,000. So I've shown you this based on these data points, and I've shown you all the other information, and basically based on this, my thoughts would be on the very low end, we would see about $80,000 for Bitcoin. And that was if the cycle were to really, fall through and we get some sort of top. I actually don't think that is going to be the case, but what might actually happen, and this is a possible scenario, is that we hit $80,000 maybe this month in April or in May, and we get a mid-cycle correction where we drop 50-60%, say from May for a few months onwards, and then we continue the cycle and run up over 100,000, maybe multiple six figures later on in the year towards November, December. That is a possibility. I think it is actually more likely that we are going to see somewhere between $120,000 and $300,000 for this cycle this year for Bitcoin, based on the previous cycles and all the data that I've shared with you in this video. And then I think the consequent low after this boom, obviously depending on how much it's going to run up, but let's just say we do run up to 300,000, I think the next cycle low might indeed be somewhere between $30,000 and $60,000, meaning that the level we're at today, $60,000, might actually end up being the low for the next cycle. Now I do think maybe it could go 40 or 30,000 in the next cycle, but I actually don't think we are going to go below the previous top of 2017, which was 20,000. So I don't think we're going to get there. I don't even think we're going to touch that. So I'd say personally, 30,000 might be the lowest that it'll ever go again. If it even gets there, it might actually be 40, 50, 60,000, meaning that, as time goes on and as we start moving towards, maybe we get that $1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 to 10 years. And even though Bitcoin seems insanely expensive right now at $60,000 per Bitcoin, maybe in future, $60,000 might end up being really cheap for Bitcoin. So I want to know, what do you think Bitcoin is going to be? What is the high that it is going to reach in 2021? How high will Bitcoin go? Leave a comment below with your predictions. Again, I'm going to run a little competition. I'm going to give away $200 at the end of the year for the person who has the closest prediction to what Bitcoin is going to achieve in US dollar value in 2021. So leave your comment below. The winners will be capped to the end of April. So you have until the end of April to make that comment with your prediction. And then at the end of the year, we can look back at this and we can choose a winner to see, just for fun, how high this is going to end up going. So leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to get on my email list and you want to know how to take advantage of this crypto bull run and how to make the most out of it, and you want a community and support to navigate this bull run, sign up for my free crypto masterclass. It's the first link in the description below. That way you also get on my email list. I can send you updates whenever I upload a new video, but you will also get the masterclass. You'll get my top 3 coin picks for the year, and I will give you the info how you can join my intelligent cryptocurrency community with tutorials, a monthly newsletter, my research, my insights, my personal portfolio movements. Everything is in there. And if you want to increase your chance of success with crypto, and you want support, and you want a like-minded community of people that can help you and answer your questions, and you have at least a few $1,000s invested in crypto or planning to invest in crypto, this is a no-brainer. It can really, really help you, and even just one tip could pay for the entire membership fee. So if you want more details on that, click the first link in the description below.